Hello agus fáilte chuig ar bhí seán faoi an Amsir Láithreach. Hello and welcome to this video about the present tense. So, the present tense deals with things that are happening now, meaning at present, so what you're doing at this very moment, and things that are happening every day. So if you go to school every day or if you eat your dinner every day, this is the tense that deals with those. So taim godi skul gachla agus taim godi or ihim mohuinir gachla. So they both deal with on Amsir Láithreach. So today's video we're going to deal with an Chéad Réimniú of an Amsir Láithreach. So in Irish, all verbs fall into one of two Réimniús or one of two conjugations, which lets you know what set of rules to follow when you're changing them or when you're conjugating them. So I will do another video on how you spot what verbs are in what Réimniú, but for today we're just going to deal with, we'll assume we know that all the verbs we're going to deal with are in the Chéad Réimniú. So also, before we continue, just to recap, and I may do a video about this if you leave a comment if you think you would like to see one, that would be great. So all letters in Irish, all consonants in Irish are either Láithreach or Gaeilge, okay? So they're either broad or slender. And the reason this is important when you're conjugating verbs is because you have to look at the last consonant and see if it is Láithreach or Gaeilge, and that will let you decide whether it is or which ending you're going to use. So how will we know if something is Láithreach? Well, if you look at the last consonant and look at the vowel beside it, and if it is one of these vowels, a, o or u, a fada, o fada or u fada, then that consonant is broad and the ending of your verb will start with a broad consonant. Likewise, if the last consonant is beside a slender vowel, so if it's beside I fada or e fada, then it is a slender consonant, and your ending of your verb will have to begin with one of these vowels. So the first verb we're going to use as an example is bon, which means to take. Now, the first thing I need to do is look at the last consonant and see if it is broad or slender. So I find that out by seeing if it's beside a broad or slender vowel. So that I is slender, meaning it must be Gaeilge. This is important because there is a mantra that every child who has ever learned Irish, or every person who has ever learned Irish, has heard at some point, and it's Láithreach le Láithreach, Gaeilge le Gaeilge, broad with broad and slender with slender. So we know that all our endings will have to start with a slender vowel. Okay, so first things first, we're going to deal with the singular person, which is me, to, she and she. So me, you, he and she. So for all of them, you keep the bon, and then for me, the ending will be im, because it is Gaeilge le Gaeilge. So that's bonum, bonum. For tu, she and she, you keep the bon and you put in E-A-N-N as an ending because you need quail le quail. So it's bonin tu, bonin she, bonin she. So bonum, I am taking. Bonin tu, you are taking. Bonin she, he is taking. Bonin she is taking. Good. So now we'll move on to the person plural and the servriher. Now the servriher is the free verb, and it means when you're talking about somebody but you're not sure if it's who you're talking about. You're just talking about a person in general. In English, you would say one, the way the Queen does. So one is going to the shop. You're not sure if it's he, she, me, they. You just know that someone is going to the shop. Bon, the root stays the same for all of them. And for we, for shin, it's bonamid. The we is incorporated into the ending, so you don't need to use or write shin afterwards. So bonamid, we are taking. Shiv, so ye, the plural of you. The beginning stays the same, E-A-N-N, shiv. Bonin shiv, same for Chéad, they. Bonin Chéad, and then the servriher is bontar. You get T-E-A-R. So bonamid, bonin shiv, bonin Chéad, bontar. And finally, with this verb, we're going to talk about the form ceistach, if we want to ask a question, and the form díoltach, if we want to answer in the negative. So if we want to say no. It's important because in Irish, if I asked you, are you taking a break? You can't just answer yes or no. You have to answer, I am taking a break or I am not taking a break. For the form ceistach, you put on before it to make it a question, and then you have to use an uru, an eclipse. So I'll do another video on urus, but basically the letter you're putting in front of the first letter eclipses it or cancels it out. So you sound the M, you don't sound the B, then you sound the rest of the word. So it'll be on monin tu. And for the díoltach, you put in a shevu, which means you lentate or soften the first letter, and it's ni vonin me. Okay, brilliant. So that's bon. The next verb or example we're going to do is con, to sing. So we can so first thing we do is look at the last consonant to see if it's lahan or quail, if it's broad or slender, and it is, how do we do that? We have to look at the vowel that's right beside it, and we know it's an a, so we know it is lahan, it is broad. So all our endings, which will be similar to the other endings, but they will start with a broad vowel. So again, we'll start by going over me, you, he and she, me, tu, she. The first one becomes conum. You put a-I-M because you need broad with broad, lahan la lahan. So conum, I am singing. You don't need a may because it's incorporated into the ending. So conum, I am singing. For tu, she and she, broad with broad, lahan la lahan, you just put in, you leave the root verb and then you put in a-n-n and the person at the end. Conan tu, conan she, conan she. You are singing, he is singing, she is singing. Okay, so we'll move on to the person's plural and the servrier, or the free person, the free verb. So again, they all begin with lahan, broad vowels, and you get conamid. Don't need the shin because it's incorporated into the ending. We are singing. Conan shiv, ye are singing, and conan shiad, you or they are singing. Then the serbriher is contar, one sings, or one is singing. Finally, the form ceistach agus form diúltach, the questioning and the negative. So again, you get the uru for the question. So before a C, you put a G, and it's on gonan to. And for the diúltach, you just lentate it, put in the shevu, so you soften the C, and it becomes ni chanan me. Okay, so now you should be able to start conjugating verbs that fall into the Chéad Réimniú, or the first grouping, in the Amsir Láithreach, in the present tense. The only type of verb that falls into the Chéad Réimniú that I haven't mentioned are ones that end with IGH. These are tricky enough, there aren't many of them, and it's better just to learn them. They're similar, but they don't follow the exact rules, for various reasons. So vruig means to push or press. If you're from Connacht in the west of Ireland, you'd say vru, which is just one syllable. But if you're from Northern Ireland, so Ulster Irish, or the south, so Munster Irish, it will be vruig. Buig is just buig. Okay, so to conjugate both of them, the one rule they do follow is you get rid of the IGH. So for vruig, or bruig, the root verb, sorry, I'm talking in the Amsir Gotcha, that's another video. Okay, so for me, or I, it will change to vruam, or bruam, because there's no shevu, so you don't soften the B. Bruam, I am pushing. Broom to, you are pushing. So you can see the strange spelling there. For we, bruamid, which is we are pushing. And for the servrier, fruiter, one pushes, or one is pushing. Okay. And for buig, for this, it's a little more standard, but it's still not exactly the same. So for me, buam, I am winning. For buan two, you are winning. Buamid, we are winning. And the serbriher, buether, one is winning. Okay, so I hope that covers everything. If not, leave a comment in the section below, and I will hopefully get back to you. But in the meantime, if you have any queries or questions, there's an amazing resource. There are 2 state-owned or state-published dictionaries, Irish-English dictionaries, and they are the basis of all official Irish. And they have a brilliant website called chonglan.ie. If you go on to that, it will conjugate all the verbs for you. It'll even tell you how to pronounce them. It's an excellent resource, and I would recommend using it. Okay guys, so thank you for listening, and have a good day. Slán agus Beannacht.